Hi everyone, my name's Michelle and I'm Mama Loves UGB here on FlossTube, but also on Instagram and Etsy as well. Welcome to the Sunday morning briefing. I've forgotten to look. Again, this should be no surprise to anyone by now. We're in the early hundreds. It's February. It is February the 19th, I think. Yeah, because it's Ness's birthday in the week, on Thursday, in fact. So we're excited about that. And it's half term. I cannot tell you how I have crawled to half term. I cannot tell you. It has been, this term has been a heck of a year, I tell you. But there we go. A little update on the strike news. We had postponed one of the strikes because we had an offer from Welsh Government. It was rejected. Nothing further has been forthcoming. So we do have a strike on the 2nd of March, unless anything else appears since then. So yeah, I'll keep you up to date with what's going on here. It was very interesting to hear about what's going on in the States as well, and that they are in quite the same pickle in lots of places as we are. But there we go. So we've got half term to look forward to. As I said, it's Ness's birthday on Thursday. We've got, she's going to a music thing on Monday. She came home the other day and she said she wanted to learn to play an instrument. And I said, oh, what would you like to learn to play? Fingers crossed it wasn't the violin or the flute or anything like too squeaky. No, it's the harp, apparently. The harp. So she will be starting harp lessons next term. But the music teacher is running like a holiday club. So she's going to go along to that on Monday, because my daughter is going to have to find musical education somewhere other than me, because I cannot carry a tune in a tin bucket or anything else musical. So she's going to have to get that from somebody else, totally from somebody else. Right, first of all, the first thing I need to do is to apologise to a nation. Canadians, I apologise to you. So last week we were talking about the snacks, those artificial chicken snacks. Now, it was fairly clear from the package that they had originated in an Asian country, and a couple of commenters have since said that the possibility is Malaysia. And as I was eating them, I suddenly noticed this warning on the back suggesting that it might be harmful, potential cause cancer and reproductive issues. Well, the uterus is fine, thanks for asking. But it turns out that I had read .ca, and my first thought was Canada, but quite a few folks had had a good look at it and said no, they think it's to do with California, and apparently California is well known for its slightly over-the-top warnings, shall we say. There's warnings on quite a lot of things, so I don't feel quite so bad. It does make sense because the original packets that come from the Try or Treat box originate from America. And so now I don't necessarily think that I am in imminent danger from eating one cracker. It may be just a little bit of caution, shall we say, on the side of the Californians. I'm sat on a squeaky chair again. Right, I have got red on because I have got a new release. Let me show you her in all her glory. Now, this is the original. I haven't stitched a model because I'm pretty sure it would look exactly like this, because it's so clear and so well done. When I bought this, I stood for a long time trying to just make sure that it was an 1895, that I hadn't seen it elsewhere, because it's in such good condition. And I looked and I looked and I looked at all the red samplers I could think of. I asked people who were into samplers, have you seen this before? And the answers came back no. So this is her. She's got this glass on, which I'm presuming is a UV anti-reflective glass. So the stitching is amazing. So this is A. Burnhope. I've still got no clue as to really who she is or where she was from. I do think she's north of England, maybe Borders area, just because of the nature of the name, and also a little bit to do with the style of the sampler. I don't know why, but I always call her Amanda in my head. She's always an Amanda in my head. Probably not, because I'm pretty sure it wasn't a terribly common name back in the 1890s, but that is how I always think of her. So you've got the Greek key border that kind of goes all the way around the outside, and you've got 3 different alphabets. Each of them has only got either the I or the J. Now it's probably the J that's missing, because the I and the J were interchangeable, so they didn't really exist in the alphabet in some cases. And then you've got these motifs at the bottom, some of which I've already used in another design in the panic button series. So this is the chart, and she's actually in my Etsy shop now. Now usually when I show you a release, I'm like, yeah, I'm just getting around to putting her in the Etsy shop, she'll be there soon, and then 4 or 5 days later it appears. She's there now. She's there now. And let me tell you something else I've done as well. Don't let me forget. So she's stitched on just a neutral colour fabric. I have in the chart given you the closest DMC colour to her, and the closest DMC colour to the stitching, I checked with my DMC cards, is DMC 22, so one of the newer DMCs. It's almost like a brick red, but you could do her in whatever you wanted. There's very little variation on the thread. It is a pretty solid colour, but you could pick whatever red you wanted. I have to say, if I did stitch her as a model, I think I'd go green, like a really beautiful emerald green. I've always thought that. In case you're wondering where these came from, this is my DMC card that I took a scalpel to, because it makes it so much easier for matching threads on samplers if you can hold the correct thread right up close. So that's a good tip. Just cut them up and put them on a ring. I believe I originally saw it as a tip from the Vivsters on her Instagram. So she's available in my Etsy shop, and let me show you what you get. I'm gonna have to sit forward because this chair is proper squeaky. Front cover, you get a little bit of information, and I've also calculated for you the different sizes of the design on 28, 32, 36, 40 and 46, and so obviously you've got the Ada sizes there as well. And I've calculated the size of the fabric with a 2 inch, a 2.5 inch and a 3 inch margin. So depending on what you've got, you will find the fabric size there. You've got 2 charts. You've got a colour chart and you've got a black and white. Okay, this is too squeaky. So you can either print out both if you want to, or you can print out whichever one you prefer. Can't get comfy today. Can't get comfy today. So that is A. Burnhope 1895. She is 237 by 255 stitches, and she's beautiful. So the other thing that I said that I've done in my Etsy shop, to celebrate half term, I'm having a little bit of a sale. So if you buy 2 or more charts, you get them at 10% off. So what I thought I'd do, because I've had quite a few new subscribers recently, is I've literally gone around the house and pulled off the walls and taken out of pots and things like that all my charts that you will find on Etsy. And I'm just going to show them to you very briefly, because some of you won't necessarily be familiar. So this is the first one. This is Nessie Mitchell. And this is a sampler design of my own. I designed her for Black Sampler November 2021, I think, so she was my first design. Jacob from Modern Folk Embroidery had messaged me and said, did I have anything that I thought I could turn into a black sampler? And I said, well, not really, but I've got this one kicking around in my head. And so I charted it, and she's been super popular, really, really popular. So that's Nessie Mitchell. Who else have we got? These are in no particular order. This is Mary Ann Kettle. So this was my Black Sampler November release from last year. And the thing that enticed me is this Be Not a Dunce. Now I have had a couple of people ask me, have I charted the outer borders for these yet? Not quite yet. Not quite yet. It's definitely on my to-do list. For those of you who haven't seen, the original sampler to this had 2 or 3 extra borders, which I decided to omit, but I did say that I would chart them and make them a free download if anybody wanted the additional extra borders, and I do still plan to do that. It's half term now, so I've got more of a chance of doing it now. So that is Mary Ann Kettle. Then we have Mary Small. This is a Scottish sampler. She was stitched when Mary was just 5 years old. And I love a red and green sampler anyway, but I also just love the fact that Mary just added that extra bit on the end there because it didn't quite fit, but that wasn't going to stop her. So just 5 years old. And then I have a red sampler pack which has got 3 red samplers in it plus a little pin cushion, and I'll show you the little pin cushion in a minute. So this is one of them. This is Fanny Lacey. This is Fanny Lacey, and I did have a message the other day from Shaz, actually, I hope she won't mind me saying. She was recounting a story. She basically said, I just need to get me Fanny framed. Which made me chuckle, So, Fanny Lacey, May Modrich, oh, I can't remember the third one now. I'll put her name down. But that's a pack of 3 samplers, which are red samplers. The other 2 are just completely red samplers. And then you get the chart and the instructions to make this tiny little beaded pin cushion. And this is stitched over 1, I think on 28 count. I think it was 28 count. Beautiful. Let's leave that up there. You have also got available, this is, I'm going to still hold her in the frame because she still hasn't got a backboard, Susanna Eccles. Now Susanna Eccles is probably my most well-travelled chart. She's been sold in America in the attic, and she's been sold in Australia, and she's been sold here in England, well, England and Wales, UK. So this is Susanna Eccles. And then we have a couple of button designs. The first one was the bingo buttons, which is based on an old bingo card that you used to buy, which had all sorts of different buttons on it. So I recreated that and just made it into a little pin cushion. And then my most recent, up until A Burnhope, were the 3 little cushions, which you've probably seen and are probably fed up of seeing. There we go. So, as I said, on my Etsy store, I have made it so that until the 1st of March, if you buy 2 charts or more, it's 10% off. So, a little half-term break. Right, I have got loads of other bits to talk to you about today, and some stitching that I've done, yay, and the results of the competition from a couple of weeks ago. So let's start with some stitching. I started and finished one thing. I started something else, 2 other things in fact, and worked on a fourth, I think. So I'd said to you that I'd bought this last week, which is Stitching with the Housewives Fraser Fur Farm, or Frazier Fur Farm, and I did myself a sulky conversion, and I stitched it on 36 count, the Miracle Grey that I got from Lakeside Needlecraft. Now the only thing I haven't done is just put the little highlights in the windows, which I will do probably with just 1 single strand of DMC rather than a single strand of sulky, which is a little bit thicker. So that technically could be my Christmas ornament for February, although I do still have another one that I want to do, so this might just be a little bonus one. And I really enjoyed stitching this. I did have to get the magnifiers out, I will admit. I don't normally on 36 count, but the black, or the Miracle Grey, did make it a little bit trickier. So I started that when I was waiting for the FlossTube to edit last Saturday night, and I finished it on Monday. So it really didn't take that long. Super quick. I also, and again this is in no particular order, this is just literally what I'm picking up, because I have a pile but it's not in any great organised fashion today. So I started this one, Spring Bouquet. It's called Bear Canoe, but the Spring Bouquet was, I think, a range of various different sort of spring related ones. I don't know if you can see on the back, those are the other ones. It's probably not going to focus. A milk can, a taco, an octopus, succulents, and a pig in a blanket. Not a Christmas pig in a blanket, a proper oink oink pig in a proper blanket. Now I started this on Thursday, no, it was Friday night, because Ness has changed her swimming. So she used to go swimming on a Thursday night, and it was literally just half an hour. She pretty much had to get changed in the car park, run into the door, have half an hour swimming. We had to stay in the car because there wasn't anywhere to sort of for parents to sit, and then we'd get her changed and we'd go home. So it meant sitting in a car for half an hour in the dark. So she's moved up swimming to this next group, which is an hour long, and it's in a different pool, and the pool's got a few chairs for parents to sit. So I thought, well, because it's an hour, I might actually get something done. So I decided to start this because I thought, well, I can take it with me. It's fairly easy, it's self-contained. I don't have to sort of spread out at the pool. It's not going to get, if the fabric gets sort of, you know, a little bit of moisture or dampness on it, it's not going to be the end of the world. So there is sort of the outside of a bear. I always wish with these mill hills you could just see just how sparkly the beads are on it. This one came with a kit to turn it into a magnet, but I probably will just put a little string on that and turn it into an ornament. It's just so cute. I saw Amy Loves Toad stitch that one, and so since then I have been hankering after it, and it's in my little mill hill pouch, which has got various different mill hills in it, some which are finished and some which aren't. Now, the other thing that I started this week was my Valentine's gift. Now, we don't really do Valentine's Day, so I wasn't expecting anything, but he had bought me, and literally this had come out the day before. Chris had bought me 2 charts. He bought me this one from the Snowflower Diaries, which is called When I Saw You. And he also bought me this one from the Witchy Stitcher, which is the Apothecary one. Now, I do like the fact that Chris's Etsy literally just brings up cross-stitch patterns for him now, because he has searched so many times for things for my birthday and Christmas that it makes suggestions for him now. So he quite often says to me, have you seen this? So I started this on a piece of 32 count Fox and Rabbit. Now I've lost the piece of paper. I think it's called Mayflower. I bought 2, Paper Bark and Mayflower, I think. So this is where I've got to. So I'm stitching it in Classic Colourworks Belsoir Red Fox, which the girls from the Patchwork Rabbit included as an addition to my advent calendar this year. So I thought it'd be nice to do it on that, because it was, you know, it was a gift as well. So I've done the top bit. I think this will go pretty quickly. Although it's a reasonable size, there's quite a lot of empty space, so I think that'll go pretty quickly once I've done the top bit. So I started that on Tuesday, which was Valentine's Day. Still went to Craft Club though. What else do you do on Valentine's Day other than go to Craft Club? And I also worked on the ferret from A Year in the Woods. Now, before I forget, I've been meaning to answer a question for some weeks now. Somebody had asked me how much gap I leave between each of the animals, and it's 5 squares, 5 stitches. So that's all 3 of them. And again, we have not had the joys of ironing. But I worked on the ferret because the ferret was the one that was least finished. So I've put in the leaves, outlined the big flower up there. So we've got another flower to go up here. Now I had said that I wanted to try and get this finished by the end of February, like I've finished the winter ones by the end of January. I can't see that that's going to happen, to be perfectly honest. We've got some friends coming to stay next week on Wednesday, so sort of stitchy time's not going to be at a premium. So it is what it is. If I can get it finished by March, that still gives me plenty of time to get the others finished, ready for I'm hoping next autumn, late autumn sometime, I can have it ready to put up. Okay, that is all of my stitching. So I've got a little bit of haul. I've got a couple of bits of really lovely stitchy kindness which are going to go into the 12,000 subscriber giveaway, which I'll show you in a bit. We're nearly there. We're not quite yet there. Arrange those words into a sentence. Quite there yet, but it won't be far off. First of all, let's do the freebie. This is called La-di-da Heart and Hand. So it says, hand and heart shall never part. So it's that one there. I'll try and find a picture of it properly to put up there. But it's a freebie from La-di-da. Really, really lovely. Its suggested are gentle arcs onyx. I think I've used up all my words. Gentle arts onyx and gentle arts aged pewter. There we go. What else have I got? The boxes. This is still here because I need to tell you, I have spoken to Vivian, whose husband Trevor is now in box manufacturing mode, and they are selling these through the Facebook group, which I'll put down below. So it's one of the cross stitch selling groups on Facebook, and I'll put the details down below. I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but she has said that she's very happy for me to give out her email if anybody's not on Facebook and would like to get in touch with them about these. They are £25 plus postage, and they are so well made. So well made. So yay! I'm so happy about that. I really need to start stitching my O Tannenbaum. That is the box for O Tannenbaum. Right. I keep saying right. Let's do some stitchy mail. Now the first part of the stitchy mail that I had, let me show you, is here. Now let me just find. This was from a lovely lady called Marie. She sent me a beautiful card, and she'd messaged me to say that she had purchased the Kitten Stitcher Advent box this year. I think it was the Advent box, and she said that there were some in there that she knew she wouldn't stitch, and would I like to have them for giveaways. And bless her, she's even included some a little donation towards the stitching, not the stitching, the postage. I think I'm going to have to run this activity like a lesson, and I'm just going to put some sentences along the bottom, and you just fill in the words. I think that's going to go better. So yeah, she sent me these to include as giveaways, and I think what I'm going to do is include a lot of them in the 12,000 subscriber giveaway, because most of those will not be released yet. So thank you very much for those, Marie. That was so kind of you, and you really didn't have to add in the extra for postage, but thank you so much. And then I had another box from a lovely lady called Carol, and she had mentioned to me that she had quite a few bits and pieces that she was looking to de-stash, and it was a mixture. I'm not going to again show them all, a mixture of some booklets and some kits and some other charts, and so those as well, I will pull out some of those for the 12,000 subscriber giveaway as well. And then I had Pauline from Sobe Bags. Now you know how much I love a Pauline's bags. So she put one up on Instagram. She sells through Instagram as Sobe Bags. And she put up this one. This beautiful fabric, which I believe is Tula Pink fabric. And you can tell it's been folded. Left it folded on the desk. And it's got these amazing owls on. And so I bought this one from her because I just loved it, and it's got a spotty interior. And then she included this other bag. Now, I had seen she'd put this other bag up, but somebody else had already grabbed it. I think it was Bumble Stitches. I think she beat me to it. But she included, just out of kindness, this extra bag, which is blackbird fabric, I believe. But look at that, isn't that beautiful? And inside we've got stripy lining, and Pauline always does these beautiful zipper pulls, which are ribbons with little charms hand sewn onto them, or little buttons. They're so beautiful. So if you don't already follow Pauline on Instagram, I suggest that you do, because her bags are fabulous. I don't think they're expensive for the amount of fabric that's in those. I've made those bags before and they take up a lot of fabric. And so, yeah, make sure you get on her Instagram so that you know when they're coming out. And she also included this thread, which I believe is from Tomatilly. It is, yes, if I recognise the tags. Again, I'm going to start putting up a multiple choice of which words you should include. Look at that colour, isn't that amazing? There we go. And then in terms of my other purchases, and I'll just show you these before I do the giveaway right at the end, I saw this from Mama Witch X Stitch pop up and I could not resist it. I couldn't resist it. It is, now it's a little bit dark, I don't know how well you're going to see, it is a whale wrapped up in sort of like octopus tentacles under the sea. It's just bonkers, but it's amazing. It's amazing. Now, I don't know if it's possible because I haven't really looked at it yet, but part of me wants to see if I can do a sulky conversion of this and use this fabric, because I loved sulky on this 36 count black. You know me and sulky and 36 count, but I wonder if I can do that because it's all done in DMC, so it's all solid colours. I just need to see if sulky have got the range of the blues, but I'm definitely going to have a look. Right, let's have a look at these giveaways then. So I've jotted them down and I have taken the screenshots from the comment picker website. So what I need to do is try and match these with the words. So the first word I searched for was Harriet, which was the full sampler for Harriet Hebblethwaite. So this is from Crowsfeet Stitching. And the winner of Harriet's sampler was Kathy Gutzman. I'm sorry, Kathy, if I've just butchered that, but Kathy Gutzman. So Kathy, if you can drop me an email and let me have your email, then I'll get Ruthie to send you your PDF chart straight away. Now the second one that came from that chart is this one, which are the pin cushions derived from some of the motifs. So the word for this was bird, and the winner of this was Margaret Yoder. So I was so chuffed to see Margaret's name. She's a very frequent watcher, frequent commenter, and she was very lucky to win the Fella book. That was it, the Fella book. So the beautiful big Fella book that's got all of the samplers in it that they owned sort of from the latter ages of their collection, and it was actually signed by Michael and Elizabeth Fella. So that went to the States quite some time ago now. But yes, it was Margaret that won that, so I was very pleased to see her name pop up again. Well done, Margaret. Then we have Anne. Whoops. And this was the full sampler for Anne Hardcastle. And this one was won by Isabel GT, it says. Isabel GT. So again, Isabel, if you can drop me an email and I will get Ruthie to send this out to you. And then the last one was the cushions that came from this. And the word that we used for this was squirrel, not thighs as I'd wanted to use, squirrel. And the winner of this one was Mary Turner. So congratulations to all 4 of you. If you send me an email, I will get those out to you. I'm just checking my notes, my half scribbled notes on the pad of paper that I got from my paper gang box. I have actually already sent out some letters on this, so I am keeping up with my my resolution, as it were. Oh, these. I forgot these. Now, I've been looking for some of these for ages, and these aren't what they are, but they might do. So I have been looking for the little circular mother of pearl thread holders that you sew into like thread keeps, housewives, and so on. And Kelmscott Designs do some, but I haven't been able to track them down, and I never really knew what they were called in order to search for them. But these are just a little pack of mother of pearl. They're technically beads because they've got a little hole at the top, and that's what they're sold as beads. So they'll work. I think they might be a little on the small side, but they will work. So if you can tell me what these things are called so that I can search for them, perhaps with a little bit more success, although I think these will be fine, then do let me know. Right, that feels like a bit of a whistle-stop tour. Apologies for the fluffs and the not being able to get my words right. It's been the end of a long term. So a few nice lie-ins, a bit of house fettling, a few nice days out, and I'll be back to normal. I'll see you again next week. Stay classy, Stitchers.